Have you ever felt tired, even after a full night's sleep? I'm not talking about physical tiredness. I mean a heavy, deep exhaustion in your soul. You listen to a friend vent for 20 minutes, and suddenly, you are the one who feels sick, anxious, or drained. Why does this happen? Why do you feel responsible for emotions that aren't even yours? If this sounds like your life, you might be suffering from what psychologists call empathic distress. And the scary part is, if you don't learn to control it, it can actually rewire your nervous system to remain in a state of permanent anxiety. But here is the good news. You aren't broken, and you aren't crazy. You just have a high-definition emotional receiver in a low-definition world. Today, we are going to learn how to turn that volume down so you can finally breathe again. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here today. We are going to have a very gentle, honest conversation about the hidden exhaustion of being a highly sensitive person. While society often praises empathy as a purely positive virtue, we rarely talk about the dark side of this trait. We don't talk about the burnout, the confusion, and the overwhelming fatigue that comes from constantly processing data that doesn't belong to you. This isn't about anything supernatural. It is about how your biology is wired to connect. And if you have ever felt like your empathy is more of a burden than a gift, I want you to know that you are safe here. We are going to unpack why this happens, and more importantly, how to protect your energy without losing your heart. To understand why you feel this way, we have to look at the mechanics of your brain. Psychologists suggest that people with high empathy have hyperactive mirror neurons. These are the brain cells that allow us to mimic and understand others. When you see someone crying, your brain lights up in the exact same areas as the person who is actually in pain. You aren't just witnessing their sorrow. You are, in a very real neurological sense, participating in it. But here is the part most empaths don't realize until they reach a breaking point. Because your brain is constantly scanning for emotional danger, you are perpetually in a state of high alert. You are constantly monitoring the emotional temperature of the room to make sure everyone is okay. Because if they are okay, then you can finally be okay. This hypervigilance is expensive. It costs you energy every single second, and it is the primary reason you feel drained even when you haven't done anything physically demanding. This deep connection often leads to a blurring of boundaries, where you struggle to know where you end and another person begins. Many people experience a profound loss of identity because they have spent so much time morphing into whoever the other person needs them to be. You catch moods the way other people catch a cold. This next insight might explain so much about your relationships. You might be unconsciously taking responsibility for regulating other people's nervous systems. When someone is angry or anxious, you feel an internal pressure to fix it, not just to be kind, but because their chaotic energy feels like physical static in your body. You soothe them so that you can stop feeling their stress. However, this dynamic creates a trap that experts believe leads to severe resentment over time. You become the therapist's friend, the one everyone dumps their problems on because you are such a good listener. People leave conversations with you feeling lighter, but you leave feeling heavy, holding the baggage they just dropped. And the hardest part is that you likely struggle to set boundaries because saying no feels like you are hurting them. To an empath, setting a boundary feels like an act of aggression. You feel the other person's disappointment as if it were your own. So you say yes to avoid feeling that shared pain, even when every cell in your body is screaming no. It is also vital to recognize that this emotional overload often manifests physically. This is called somatic empathy. You might walk through a crowded mall or a busy office and suddenly feel dizzy, irritable, or exhausted without knowing why. Your system is simply processing too many signals at once. But here is something that might change how you view your need for solitude. It isn't that you are antisocial. It's that your brain needs a hard reset. Solitude is not a luxury for you. It is medicine. It is the only time your nervous system stops processing external input and can finally return to baseline. Without that reset, you are running on fumes. Another shadow aspect is the tendency to attract people who need saving. There is often a magnetic pull between the highly empathetic person and the emotionally dependent person. The empath wants to give and heal. The dependent person wants to take and be healed. It feels like a perfect match in the beginning, but eventually the tank runs dry. You might feel guilty for having needs at all, telling yourself that you can handle it because you are strong. But being strong does. You are not the manager of the universe, and you cannot do someone else's emotional work for them. When you try to carry their pain, you are actually robbing them of the opportunity to learn how to carry it themselves. So, how do we start to heal? The first step is learning the difference between absorbing and observing. Imagine you are in a house with windows. When someone walks by outside, you can see them through the window. You can acknowledge they are there. But you do not have to open the front door and invite them in to track mud on your carpet. Emotional boundaries work the same way. You can witness someone's pain and offer compassion without letting that pain move into your body. This takes practice. It involves visualizing a shield around yourself or repeating a gentle mantra like, "This is not mine to carry." Another vital shift is practicing the sacred pause. As empaths, our default reaction is to jump in and help immediately. But experts suggest that when someone comes to you with a crisis, take a breath, check in with your own energy tank. Ask yourself, do I have the capacity to handle this right now? If the answer is no, it is necessary to step back. You can say, "I care about you, but I don't have the emotional bandwidth to discuss this right now." This doesn't make you a bad friend. It makes you a sustainable one. If you burn out, you can't help anyone. Preserving your energy is actually the most generous thing you can do. Finally, we need to release the guilt of being happy. Many empaths feel guilty for having joy when they know someone else is suffering. But you have to realize that your suffering does not alleviate theirs. Your misery does not serve the world. In fact, by staying grounded and joyful, you provide a stable anchor for the people around you. You cannot lift someone up if you are also lying on the floor with them. You have to stand firm in your own reality. Being an empath is not a curse. It's a beautiful sensitivity that simply needs balance and protection. Think of your empathy like the ocean. Vast, deep, and powerful. But the ocean needs shores. Without shores, the water floods everything. Your boundaries are those shores. They give your empathy shape and direction so you don't drown in it. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to close the door. You are allowed to be happy even when the world is not. Stay gentle with yourself. Stay grounded. And if this video brought you clarity, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care of your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.